Here we have the new 2024 Nissan Versa. Now this Versa comes in the SR trim level in Aspen White Tri-Coat. And we get that charcoal sport cloth interior. For the powertrain, we get a 1.6 liter naturally aspirated 4-cylinder engine. And that's made it to a continuously variable transmission. But as we come around to the front end here, since the 23 refresh, just a really nice look here. On the SR, I love getting the standard LED headlamps, LED daytime running lights, and just a very, very sporty yet sophisticated looking front end here. Now to these wheels here, these are going to be 17-inch alloy wheels. Love that look. We get passive keyless entry on the front two doors, and then power door lock controls are here, power mirror controls, and then we have a one-touch automatic up and down window for the driver's side, just regular power windows for the other three doors. Gas cap, hood release. We do get a manual tilt and telescoping steering wheel. And there's our 6-way manual driver's seat. Now I have that seat up front adjusted for someone of my size, being 6'3" with longer legs. But before we check out the room behind, big shout out to John Roberts Nissan for allowing me to review this Versa SR today. I'll leave a link below in the description. And then this one's stickers at $22,300. Y'all can pause anywhere you need to. But hopping in the back seat here, not the best leg room, but not terrible either for this to be a compact car. My hair is brushing up against the headliner, but other than that, space back here is decent. Seat back pocket there. And we do get a USB-C charge port back here. There's a view of the front end. And I think I have the child lock on here. But let's go ahead and make our way towards the back. And to turn that child lock off, just pull there. Gas cap here. Now as we come around to the back end, we do get the integrated parking sensors there. And then we can pop the trunk right there in the middle. And decent sized trunk space, I think, especially for a car this size. Spare tires underneath there. And I like how we can hang bags there if we want to go with that cargo net. And it's just like small things like this. I love this spoiler here. It makes a big difference in how this car looks. But as we come around this rear passenger side, I'm gonna fold these seats down. Now in the S, I wasn't able to fold these flat, which was interesting to me. But you can here in this SR on either side, and pretty easy to just lock it back into place. And then we do get our 4-way manual front passenger seat here. Glove compartment there. I like the stitching here. But now we're gonna make our way back to the front to look in the engine bay. Before we do that, Nissan always puts the parts contents somewhere visible. So I like having that there so I can see exactly how this vehicle is made. And there's a 1.6 liter naturally aspirated 4-cylinder. And sorry if you can hear me sniffing, it's just freezing outside. But let's go ahead and hop in the driver's seat. So leather wrap steering wheel here. I like the flat bottom look. And I don't know why this horn won't work, but that's interesting. To the audio system here, we do get this 8-inch screen. So that gives you AM, FM, XM along with Bluetooth audio. And then you have wired Apple CarPlay, wired Android Auto compatibility. And then in your settings here, you can change your units or your language right in there. But for the most part, everything makes sense. Just how it's made here. If you want to add a Bluetooth device, just walks you right through it. Backup camera, guidelines follow you. Just turn the steering wheel. Volume knob is here. We can click there to mute. Then we have a tune knob here. Push that and you can pull up shortcuts for your sound there. And then adjust that as you see fit. But down here we do get Single zone automatic climate controls, which is nice. I can toggle that there, adjust the temperature, and then defrosters, fan direction, fan speed, and then 2-stage heated seats for the front 2 seats there. And down here, 12-volt USB-C, USB-A port, and then a wireless charging pad back in here. And for the shifter, just grab this lever, reverse, neutral, drive. There's your low gear there, and then your sport mode can be toggled right there. Bottle holders, parking brake, center console cubby space with a USB-C charge port. Wasn't expecting that. There's a view of the back seat from up here. And then I'm just curious if these have vanity. Yeah, I don't think they have any lights here. There's a book in the way, but I'll just, yeah, no lights, but you do have those mirrors. Now back to the steering wheel. Blinkers are over here. Low beams are on, high beams are there. You can flash there. And then I believe that toggles your high beam assist when applicable there when you're in auto mode. But windshield wiper controls are over here. One time off, intermittent low, high. We can adjust that intermittent mode here. And then to the steering wheel itself, volume, track list, or radio station presets, back button, and these 4 arrows are used to go through that digital part of the gauge cluster there. So we can go through the different settings and whatnot. Then over here, we do have Nissan safety system. Well, a few features here, including the adaptive cruise. So we can toggle that gap for that, and then adjust speed, cancel, voice recognition, Bluetooth. Push button starts here. Finally, here's the key fob with remote start. Next, let's go ahead and take this Versa SR out on the road for a test drive. So starting the test drive in this 24 Versa SR, I really like how easy this thing is to drive. Now, if you put your foot to the pedal, it kind of worries you. You feel like the car's about to blow up, but I mean, it's a 1.6 liter naturally aspirated 4-cylinder. It sounds just like my 1997 Geo Prism that I had. Now, if you drive this thing normally, it actually is very capable in terms of getting up to speed. And then again, you're still getting 32 miles per gallon city, 40 miles per gallon highway. In a vehicle around 23 grand, I mean, you can't beat that, especially having this nice 8-inch screen here, having the adaptive cruise, having the high beam assist, everything that comes with that Safety Shield 360 that Nissan provides on this car. And a big plus for me, which I always love, is the blind spot monitors. Now, me personally, I would much rather pay the extra 3 grand, 4 grand, however much it is, get this SR as opposed to getting a base model S, just because you get a nice looking vehicle, a nicer looking vehicle, I should say. Now, this does also have the Aspen White tri-coat paint, but I mean, you get the LED headlamps, blind spot monitors. You also get this left side digital gauge cluster here. So all this is pretty much a screen as opposed to just a small one you get in the middle on the S. But one of my favorite things is adaptive cruise control. So having that here, I think it's the intelligent cruise control is what Nissan calls it. Having that here is a big plus for me as well. But everything else pretty much feels similar to the Versa S, just how this drives, how it feels, the space you get. The only little thing that I found was interesting was, like I said earlier, that back seat doesn't fold in the S, but you can fold it down in this SR here. But if you want a more sport-oriented vehicle, where this also shines is just how it, even on the interior, having the orange stitching here, that black leatherette, and even the seats with the two-tone there. It just makes this feel like a much more expensive car as opposed to the base model S there. And then also just having this leather wrap steering wheel, the stitching. The more I look at this vehicle, the more I see that you really get your money's worth upgrading from an S to an SR with a Nissan Versa. don't know if it is a leather wrap steering wheel, but I just took this. I wanted to do the Versa S and compare it to this SR back to back, just to kind of see the difference in everything. And this even feels like it drives better in this SR trim level, and I think it just has to do with having the heated seat. It could all be in my head, but it just feels like these seats are more supportive, and then having the leather wrap steering wheel is a big plus over that hard vinyl steering wheel, and it just makes it, again, feel less cheap. And I don't really know what competitors that you could compare the Versa to. It's one of the few that's left, first of all, in terms of a small car, but secondly, just in terms of a vehicle you can get under 20 grand, period. And for this SR under 25 grand. You could maybe compare it to a Corolla. Now, of course, Hyundai, I don't know, they have the Elantra, but I feel like that would be more of a Sentra competitor. And then Toyota with a Corolla, I feel like those would be competitors. This Versa is in a subcompact realm with very few competitors still left. Because everybody's just going, I mean, you have the Kicks, and there are a lot more competitors for the Kicks as opposed to this Versa here. But we're gonna give it a little pull in sport mode, getting on the interstate here. So it can get up to speed when it needs to, but certainly not a speed demon there. I'm going to take it out of sport mode. And I enjoy having the adaptive cruise here. I wish I had the lane centering, but not really a big deal breaker there. Again, this is still under $24,000. So just having adaptive cruise, I mean, it's pretty impressive for the price point, I think. Now, I do feel like wind noise has picked up a little bit, and I also think these alloy wheels are just a bit louder than the 15-inch steel wheels on that Versa S. But just sitting here listening to the sound, it kind of almost went away after I slowed down just a few miles per hour. But we're getting some crazy gusts here and there with the weather report. And I saw that earlier today. They said it would start picking up, and the sun is starting to go down, so that has some bearing on it, I'm sure. But I want to give one more thank you to John Roberts Nissan here in Manchester, Tennessee. They have pretty good pricing over there just compared to everything else in this area. And then on top of that, just the service you get there is pretty good. I've had to deal with them a few times, and they just come off as regular folks. So if you're looking for a buying experience like that, definitely check them out. But I mean, I think it's an impressive car, again, for 24 grand, for everything that you get here, from the exterior styling to the interior features, the Safety Shield 360. So yeah, with all that being said, this will bring me to the end of my review of this 2024 Nissan Versa in the SR trim level.